source code dot text, what this is going to do is it's pretty much just going to take the text of this request, all the crap that we need to crawl, and we're going to store it in a variable called plain text. So again, we don't really care about the extra crap that happens behind the scenes. We just want the text, the links, the images, the good meat of the website. So right now, all of my good stuff is stored in plain text. That's what we can sift through. So the only other kind of transition I need to make now is pretty much this. Right now I have all the information from a web page. However, since we're using this class right here, Beautiful Soup, we need to take that and convert it to a Beautiful Soup object. And that's because this class right here, it needs its data formatted in a special way to be able to crawl through it and sift through it and sort through like all the links and stuff easily. So my Beautiful Soup object, I'm going to store it in an object named Soup. Now, in order to create an object, it's actually really easy. Just put the class name, and the one parameter that you pass into it is that text. So basically, plain and simple, this is all the source code from the website, whatever web page we said to crawl. Now, when we have this soup object is the thing that we can sort through. So, okay, find all the links in soup, find all the titles in soup. So I know it's kind of confusing so far, but you guys are going to see something really cool right now. So since we have all that data in soup, we can do something like this. Say we wanted to, I don't know, what's an easy thing to do? Alright, we'll say that we'll, let's gather just the titles of each item. So maybe we just wanted to make a web crawler to gather the titles of each item just so we can sort through them easier. Well, we just can't be like, okay, get the title of this, how do we type it in? Because even though that, if we were talking to our friend, then he might see what the titles are. Our computer doesn't understand that language. So what we need to do is if we right click this and inspect element, we need to find something in the source code that is unique. So we'll say, okay, this is the title right here. So we can't just say links because, my name's a link, the categories are links. What trait is specific to this title that we can tell Beautiful Soup to use? Well, actually, this class right here, item name, no other links except the titles have that class. So we can just copy that. And basically what we're going to say is, okay, gather all of the links on this page, but only if they have the class item name. And whenever it does that, it only gets the titles. So in order to do that, put for link in soup, find all. Now this parameter is going to go through that source code and find all of a specific item depending on the information you give it. And I'll show you guys what I mean right now. So the first thing it says, okay, what element do you want me to find? Well, we want you to find it links. And of course, links are named A for anchors in HTML. So find all the links. Now, if you just ran this, it would return all of the links. It would return, the category names, the ratings, names. We don't want that. So we need to give it one more parameter, and that's this. Add a comma, and in between curly braces, remember, the item name was a class. So it says, okay, you can either put the attribute such as ID, class, so on and so forth there. So it says, okay, what attribute do you want me to look for? And after this, you add a colon, and then you give it the value, such as item name. I said that kind of weird. Item name. So what this is going to do is it's going to loop through all of your source code, and it's going to pick out the links with a class of item name. So again, this is how we tell Beautiful Soup to get all the titles. I know it's kind of weird, but hey, it's a computer, not smart as us. Or maybe they're smarter than us. I don't know. Haven't really figured that out yet. So right now, it's plucking out all of the titles. Well, okay. I have like a million things to teach you, but let me refresh it so I can. So whenever we inspect these elements, this is what it's gathering, basically, whatever's highlighted right here. But now it's saying, okay, well, what do you want from here? Do you want the href, pretty much the URL? Do you want the class name? Do you want the crap that's inside here? I mean, this is a lot of crap. Do you want me just to give everything to you back? Well, let's say that we actually only wanted the URL, so the link address of each one. So what we can do is we can say, okay, we're going to make a new variable called href, and it's going to be equal to link, because remember, everything it gives back is treated as link, and we'll put get href. So again, what this does is it says, okay, I know you're looking at this entire thing right here, but we don't want all this extra crap. We don't like need the anchor tags and stuff like this. The only thing we want is the text that's inside this href attribute. So for each item, what this is going to do is it's going to give you this. And actually, let me print this out real quick, and you guys are going to understand what I mean. So now if I print href, let me run this real quick. Alright, so of course, if we just run this right now, nothing's going to happen because we didn't call it. So let's call it right there. And just the test, I'm going to throw in max pages is 1. So now let me right click and run Bucky and check it out. And why is this not? Oh, I see. Alright, so what we did is we accidentally put the page equal to 1, and we put this, so since 1 is not less than 1, it never ran. And also forgot to do one other thing. We also need to increment the pages each time, even though we're only searching one page right now. So again, let's run this and check it out. So what this basically did is it went to that page, and for every single title link, it pulled out the href or the URL, and then it printed it out on the screen. And then of course it went to the next page, but that's when our condition broke right here. So of course, if we're actually crawling it and gathering this data, it wouldn't be very helpful, because this URL is great for, you know, whenever I was designing the website, but if I try to go to one of these in my browser, you know, it's not gonna happen. So what is a better thing to do is, if you add, actually let me just do the shortcut of this. Actually, I'll do it the right way, I guess. So basically, you have to look, okay, this URL ends at trade, the trade directory. So what we need to do is, if we copy all of this right here, we can build a complete URL by writing href, put this equal to https://buckysroom.org, and then add the ending part of it. And now whenever we run this, we now have a full URL. So again, that URL works, this one works, this one works. What we did is, let me close these to the right. We now successfully built a web crawler that goes through every single item and pulls out the URL of it. So again, that is pretty much the very basics of how Google pretty much pulls links from your website. So another thing that I want to do is I want to show you guys, well, what if you don't want the URL? What if you just want the title or something? Well, what you can do in that case is this. And even if you don't want the title, this is actually pretty good to learn. So for everything you pull out of a link, it's good to store it in a new variable. So set the title equal to this. Remember, all of that link information is still in that link variable. So you always add link. Now to get the information inside it, I'll just edit this real quick. Now the part inside your link, right here, the string without any of the HTML, that is actually a parameter called string. So it's going to say, okay, this link is the entire HTML, but we only want the text inside it. So that's when you use string. So now if we were to do something like print title and run this, what it's going to do is, of course, we printed the href as well, but now we printed the title of it underneath it. So at this is the URL for this item, this is the URL for this item, so on and so forth. So check this out. We now have a beginning of a very simple but very cool web crawler, spider, whatever you want to call it. And in the next video, what I'm going to show you guys how to do is actually make this more dynamic, because right now we give it a certain number of pages, basically giving it a list of URLs, and it can go to that, and when it's done, it's done. But what if we wanted this web crawler to go on forever? Such as we want to say, okay, go to a new page, get all of those links, crawl those, and on those pages, gather those links, crawl those, and it can just keep going on and on forever. Well, that's what I'm going to be showing you guys in the next tutorial. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you then.